So we are testing a data set, but what we are going to do this time is do something a little more substantial. And yes, I need to get the disk drive back out. So, my plan is to load something off of the test demo disk, save it onto the tape, load it back in, see that it works, and this is also making sure the computer is happy as well. So, let the games begin. At the moment, I have the tape drive just spinning ever so gracefully. I'm going to stop it for a moment. I'm going to turn off the computer and I'm going to retrieve the power supply for the disk drive. Yeah, I got lots of room here, lots of plugs. It's funny how, no matter how many plugs you have, it's not enough. So, we have the serial cable. And we will plug in the power. And pick up the disk, put the disk drive down, plug in the serial cable to the computer, turn it on, turn it on. I'm going to rewind the tape and see how it is this time. Seems okay. Stop. We will. So, you have the disk in. Oops. There's a little bit of a dirty keyboard. So we'll load the directory, and we will look. So we don't. Oh no, we're not doing the fast file copier thing. Oh no, no, no. I think, because I am familiar with it, and I know it's all basic, and I know there shouldn't be anything weird, we will move up, as one does, and load the performance test. Alright, it is in. It is basic, it is in. Now, one thing I'm going to do differently, I'm going to press play on the cassette, and I'm going to advance the counter to 10, because that for sure should get off the leader. There should be no chance. It's funny, you know, when the cassettes first came out, there was no such counter. Alright. We are at 10. Excellent. So, the program is here. We're going to type in save performance test. No quote, comma, 8 or anything like that. We're going to press play and record. And now we wait. How exciting. So this is to make sure, of course, that the computer is happy with the tape drive is happy with the computer, the tape drive is just generally happy. The 1541 is happy. And to make sure that everything is as it seems to be, or assuming it loads in okay, we will load the performance test from a disk and then run it. Sorry, from a tape. We are loaded from tape and we will run it and test the disk drive. So, I don't know how long this will take, but, you know. So, way back when, we have saved the performance test. How magical. Okay, so, on the counter, it's at 30. So I'm going to stop it. I'm going to rewind it. It is not rewinding. What is going on here? It is slow and stupid. Let's eject. Let's feel this tape. What's going on here? That's annoying. Well, it's fast forwarding, but it doesn't sound wonderful. Dear, 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 dear. That is annoying. Oh. Okay, it's kind of fighting. Well, this is annoying. But it is slowly. Oh, that's not doing it. It's fighting. I don't know. Maybe it's just because it is this long. Like this is a 90-minute tape. So the little spool. Okay. If you listen carefully. It is with some difficulty. We're not even back to where the program should be, mind you. See, the spool on the big side is big. The spool on the small side, it's small. I don't want this to confuse the issue. But it is distressing. Let us eject for a moment. It all looks okay. Let's try fast forwarding on this side. Nope. Rewind. Oh dear, 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 dear. Alright, we'll get this. It's going back. The counter is back. Oh, and now, it's funny, it's almost like the part that it's saved on is the part that is giving it the trouble. I don't get it, because now it's just dandy. Okay, so what we're going to do, turn this off, turn it back on, and we will load performance test. And we will press play on tape. Certainly, one thing, if this thing is fighting and the tape is not going at a nice speed, that would not help things. Now, one thing I'm going to do before I forget and do something foolish, who would do that? I'm going to get, this is a blank, 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 blank disk. Searching for performance test. Found tape. Well, good for you. We don't want that. We do not. So I'm wondering if I have to look for a shorter tape. Anyway, many years ago, of course, before counters, you found performance tests. Okay. What would you do? Well, oftentimes you would either, I know this sounds really scientific, load error. I wonder if this is the tape having issues. Okay, it certainly did not load at all. We will reset. We will try again. I'm wondering if I need to look for a shorter tape, and I may have some right here. Oh, but are they shorter? This is a tape originally from the Toronto Pet Users Group. But it's not short. It is not. Yeah, no, these are all much the same. Well, we'll see about that. We'll see what happens with this, and then we'll see what happens with that. Okay, we have found a performance test. Now the other thing, of course, is this tape is old. Is it not holding itself? Or is the tape drive's head dirty? It does seem to be working better this time. The counter is now approaching 20, I believe. At 30, we will know the answer. We will. So yes, here is an original T-Pug tape, which it was supposedly D4, but that's been scratched off. This is when T-Pug was at 1912A Avenue Road, Suite 1, which was about a block away from where I lived in Toronto. So we're coming up to 30, 31, 32. Okay. I think this is going too long, but we'll let this go. We will. But now we are at 40. And that is too long. Found performance test. Didn't say loading it though, but one would think that's implied. We seem to be locked up tight. Alright, we're going to take this fancy dancy music tape out. We're going to put this well, that tape doesn't want to move at all. Or is it the tape? Oh, huh. Do you know that if you don't turn the Commodore 64 on, it won't go? Okay, so we'll reset the counter. We'll let that play. We'll pull this disc out. We'll put the test demo disc in. We'll let the counter go to 10. We'll press stop. So, because I know that I'm looking for the performance test, I can just do perf with an asterisk. And it is loading, and it is ready. So now, I will save. And I'm just going to do perf. And I'm going to press play and record. And so, it is saving. Supposedly, if this goes well, It started at about 10, it should stop about 30. And we should be able to load it back in and make it go. We should. This tape does still look pretty long. Pretty long indeed. Way back when in the Commodore days, actually there was a company right across the street on Avenue Road. I don't know how they had a place on Avenue Road, but they were C&L Audio, and they would make cassette tapes. And many, many, many. Like we used to just do this to tape thing before the meetings, but then when we found these people, we would get a master tape ready, and we could take it to them. Okay, we have saved perf. We will rewind, and it seems to be rewinding just dandy. We will stop. We will list. It's there. We will say new. We will say load. Perf. And we will press play. Yes, this is how I started. A Commodore PET and a Datasette. So one thing though, they were a very reliable system. It may not look like it at this moment, but compared to the TRS-80, and I had a friend who had a TRS-80, and forever and ever it saved things, they wouldn't work. They were just using a standard tape recorder from Radio Shack, which meant, what's going on here? Okay, we found perf. And they had external volume controls, so you had to make sure the volume control was just so. And these, thankfully, were, a tape drive, no volume control. The volume, I'm sure, is set inside just so, just right, just perfect. And they were mighty reliable. They were not fast. But if you ever thought a 1541 was slow, and it is, try using a Datasette. That is pain. So, okay, load error. Well, the funny thing is, from what I remember of the program, it looks okay. So, we will be brave, and we'll type run. Undefined save. No, it didn't load. Well, we are working with old things. One thing that does come to mind, though, is we could clean the head. So, because you never know, So for this, we're going to take our essentially rubbing alcohol, I'm going to push the head forward. I'm pressing play, and I'm going to stroke the read-write head and spin the Q-tip ever so gently upon the head. Now, does it look like anything happened? No, not at all. And right now, that is wet. So it will take but a few moments to dry. So I think, always put the lid of your rubbing alcohol back on very promptly and very good. So I'm going to leave the door open there. And I still have faith that once we let this rest, that we're going to take, once again, we'll try and put this disk into the drive, load into the computer, save onto the tape drive, load back into the computer, and test the disk drive. That is the plan. Stay tuned. We'll see if it works. And if it continues not to work, I will try it with another computer. Because once again, we are testing not just the dataset, but the computer. Does it matter terribly if it works with the dataset in the future? Not really. Because this fellow just wants the disk drive to work. But stay tuned. We'll see what happens.